up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Kinda OP Weekly Game Talk. I'm Jeff.
I'm Chris.
This week we have a couple news things to go over. We have a pretty good show planned. So before we get that started, how's everything been?
Good. Still just playing, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I know you just recently got it as well. So
Yeah, we'll be starting that as soon as we get done.
yeah, first Assassin's Creed experience for you.
It is.
I'm so excited. I hope this is like the start of your journey, like playing more and more of them. And I already told him this one's great, but if they remake Assassin's Creed 2 and Ezio's story from the ground up, I'm there day one. So yeah, super excited about that.
If they remake 2, do I need to play 1 first, or can I start with 2?
No, they're all kind of encapsulating with each character. So, not really 1. I know some people love 1 over 2 sometimes too. So
yeah.
It all depends on the assassin that you like. So,
yeah.
So that, other news, Doomsday trailer.
Yeah.
What you think about that?
So part of me was hoping that the way they were doing trailers before, where they were just introducing people to each other and saying, Wakanda will be in Doomsday. Fantastic Four will be in Doomsday. Thor. I kind of like that. I would have liked to have gone into the movie with a lot of surprise. This trailer kind of showed a lot.
Yep.
So I think it showed a little bit more than I would have liked, but it definitely got me more pumped up.
Yeah, I mean, I know when we originally heard about them bringing so many people whose stories were already over back, the RDJ thing, we love them as characters, but like bringing them back to see him as a villain, I think is where we're having a hard time at.
Yeah.
And like you did his story so perfectly and you ended it so perfectly. It's like, do we kind of want to tarnish that bringing him back? But there can be so many twists and turns that they take with it. Same thing with my boy. I'm a huge Captain America fan, and like he had such a perfect ending, with him and Agent Carter, dancing in the room and everything. It's like such a beautiful send off. Do we want to bring it back and try to tread old stories already again?
Yeah, so I'm not 100% positive, but I thought I remembered a story. I could be making this up. In the comics a long time ago, where Doctor Doom eventually, maybe this is spoilers, so if you kind of don't want to turn away now, if you want to turn away now and kind of avoid this, but I thought that I remember seeing him with an Iron Man suit. So did that happen? Did he like make an ultimate suit or something like that and like kind of take over as...
He's asking me because I read a bunch of comics, but I don't remember exactly. I think there was an Invincible Iron Man, and I think that's what I think of too, but I can't remember the exact storyline of that.
Yeah, so
it was like a greenish kind of like Iron Man.
Something tells me that I thought it was Doctor Doom who made that suit, which would kind of be a weird tie-in to kind of make that happen with Robert Downey Jr. But
I heard a theory that Doctor Doom is trying to like take over the universes, and since our universe looked like Tony Stark, like he looks like him, he's trying to go there and try to trick them a little bit. But who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I also heard Captain America might be Hydra Captain America. So
I've seen that quite a few times.
Yeah, but it looks great. X-Men, we're huge X-Men fans. I think everybody's been waiting a long time to see them in the universe officially. Deadpool breaks the fourth wall all the time and everything with that. But to see Cyclops, Mystique on screen with everybody, Patrick Stewart coming back as Charles Xavier. It's all pretty exciting to me, at least.
And two of my favorite X-Men are Gambit and Nightcrawler. It'll be interesting to see Channing Tatum. They're gonna, I feel like they're gonna force him into a slightly more serious role than Deadpool. Maybe. So we might see a little bit more of kind of what I like to see from Gambit.
Without a doubt, he's going to be making a name for himself today. So
he's gonna be. So he was perfect for that role in that. But I feel like he can really nail it down.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
They're bringing back the original Nightcrawler. From X2. I loved him as Nightcrawler. He was kind of funny and kind of like endearing. So it'll be good to see that as well. But I'm definitely excited for that.
Awesome. So kind of leading off from Marvel a bit, Wolverine trailer.
Yep.
Kind of more story related. You know,
Yep.
what's your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to be a great game. I'm not expecting Spider-Man level like greatness.
Yeah,
Um, I'm trying to prepare my brain to know that it's going to be something different. I mean, one of the things I love most about those Spider-Man games is how smooth everything runs.
yeah,
This is going to be just beating the crap out of people. It's
yeah,
going to be gory. We've seen Sabretooth now. We've seen some of the people that are going to be in the game. Um, I'm excited for this. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews from different people, different streamers. I am ready for this. It's marked on the calendar. It comes out my birthday week. My plan is probably just to stay inside all weekend and see how many hours I can grind out on that.
He looked me right in the eye when he said that. Yeah, I mean, it looks great. You know, like you were saying, I think Spider-Man has a little bit more freedom because you can traverse so much more
Yeah.
than you would maybe with Wolverine. And I do think they said that this is kind of like we're going like level by level basis with this one. So I think it's going to be great in its own way.
Yeah.
I also heard criticisms and stuff about maybe like Wolverine and how he looks and everything. But like,
Yeah.
I think it's great. Like it's not always going to be Hugh Jackman,
Yeah.
you know. And diehard fans of the comics, you know, I think for years they've been saying make it a comic accurate Wolverine, make him a little bit shorter, you know, like make him look a little bit different.
Which I'm all for.
Yep, and we love Hugh Jackman. He's one of the greatest. You know, he probably will be the greatest portrayal of Wolverine you'll ever get. But change is also great. You know, we've had Hugh Jackman for years now. You know, give us a little something different.
Yep.
You know, especially in a video game context. You know, the Marvel Spider-Man, Peter Parker didn't look like any of the
Right.
Spider-Mans, you know, originally until they changed his look later on. But
Yep.
yeah, so super excited for that. Like you said, September, big month for video games, September.
Yep.
So that looks great.
Yeah, so jumping into our last little bit of intro news, something a little sooner than that. Next week is Halo.
Yep.
Campaign Evolved. I'll just give my piece on that and I'll pass it over. I feel like everything I've seen looks amazing. I know they've added a few of the elements and weapons from, future games into this. I heard they've added 3 prequel levels to kind of show you what happens leading up. I really think the only thing that's going to put me in a spot where I'm kind of like missing something is the online.
Yeah.
They let us know far in advance. It's called Campaign Evolved. They're letting you know that it's all about the campaign. We love that. That is one of the greatest online experiences is Halo. It was fun. It was funny. There was some humor involved. The weapons are great. The maps are great. So I think that's going to be the only thing that I kind of look down on. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, a good, also thing though is I do think it's like co-op day one. So if you do want to play with friends, you can play with friends. Like you said, it won't be like the matchmaking and like red team versus blue team, which we played the crap out of back in the day. So many good game modes, infection and everything. But yeah, overall the game itself looks amazing. Like this is one of those games where it pulls on your like heartstrings of like, just remember playing it back in the day. And then you wonder like, what is there to complain about? It looks amazing. It's exactly what people want from remakes that they talk about before it gets remade. Make it the exact same, but make it look 100 times better. Yeah. That's what this does. And I haven't been looking too much into the news of it. So you telling me like the 3 campaign missions before, I didn't know about that. So that's exciting because after playing Reach, I do think there was that like, wow, we didn't talk nearly enough about Reach going into Halo 1. Like, I think they mentioned it in one line of dialogue. Right. So, yeah, I mean, that looks cool. I know there's a lot of different skins for this one because they're taking it out of the first-person mode into the third-person mode, giving you that option. So that's really cool. But, yeah, so far what I've been most impressed with is just the graphics. It looks really good. It looks better than I expected. And they've been releasing all these images just the past couple of weeks. Right. So, but I mean, it's great. So
we will both be, I'm assuming we'll both be picking that up.
Yep. It's a day one for me. I'm not sure if it's a day one for you,
absolutely.
But yep.
I think the last thing we want to touch on is something a little minor, but since we're not very happy with PlayStation right now, we'll just throw it out on the airwaves. there were tens of thousands of people that lost, network access. They weren't able to launch games or apps or any of the network stuff. Um, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you see somebody do something to somebody and they get that instant karma. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
we don't wish the worst for you, but we do kind of look at it and be like, you know what, fix this. You want to worry about fixing something, make sure this doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, Sony's definitely in the hot seat right now. It's just like one bad stumble after another, especially like people's reactions and maybe we're looking at it through like a keyhole, and maybe there are billions of people that prefer digital. I just don't see that online, and
Yep.
maybe that's just stuff that we're looking up on our own. But like, yeah, I mean, them announcing that, and then all of a sudden, hey, people can't get access to their games. I have heard people were able to play their digital libraries. They just couldn't play online. But again, just another benefit of having physical media. Hey, the online servers are down, whatever. I'm about to go pop in this disc and play a single player campaign. And even with games that you need to download for,
Yep.
a lot of games you would already have in your system also. So
Right.
like, having it physical is just another benefit. But
Yep.
not to beat a dead horse. Moving on from that, our video game shoutouts this week. You
Yep.
want to go first? Want me to go first?
You can go first.
Go first? All right. My video game shout out this week, this is going to look like a very, very old case, and that's because it is PlayStation 1, Final Fantasy 9. I feel like I mentioned this before on the pod. I will agree 7 is probably the best Final Fantasy, but my favorite is and always will be probably Final Fantasy 9. I love the main characters, the cast of characters. This was back when they still had those weird looking characters like Vivi, or even the main person. Hey, let's give him a tail. Throw a tail on there for him.
Yep.
Such a good game. I still go back from time to time and re-download it off the PlayStation Store and play it. Yes, a digital download. I'm not always against it. But yeah, so many fond memories, man. This was also back when they made like glass cases, so good luck finding one without cracks in it. I have a slight crack in the back. I'm sure you can't really see it too much, but yeah, overall, this was before Square Enix, Squaresoft also. They made some, giants of games back then, and this is one of them. We loved it so much, we even have tattoos of the main symbol from the game. So, yeah, that's my video game shout out for the week.
All right, mine is Ghost of Yotei. Those of you who have played this game know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who haven't, this is probably, if I had to rank them, the most beautiful game I've ever played. It's very heavy on nature. It's very heavy on things like that. You can be going through a field and the way the flowers in the grass blow, or the petals from the trees will blow, or fire, just watching fire. Anything in this game you could probably approach and just look at it, the water. And then you mix in like some of the most amazing combat, the weapons. In the original, a lot of it was based around kind of like techniques and stuff.
Yeah.
This one is more based around the actual weapons. It is one of my favorite PS5 games, and it is probably maybe in my top 10 games all time. I'd have to really look at that list, but playing that game was probably one of the best experiences I've had in a long time. So it's definitely up there. If you haven't tried that, check it out. If you've played the first one and you haven't played this one, in my opinion, it's an upgrade in every sense of the way. I mean, it's just everything about it is spot on.
Yeah, I'll agree. The first one, I think I like the story better in the first one a little bit, but yeah, they really did, and just one up everything that they did from the first one. If you haven't played the first one, I wouldn't do the disservice of just skipping the first one and playing this one,
right?
Because they do a little homage to the first one. Jin Sakai was such a beloved character from the first one. They do kind of throw little Easter eggs in there for you for this one.
Yep.
But yeah, even from, you didn't mention this, but I remember playing it for the first time and just riding, and then you find a pack of horses, and then it's like a cinematic movie where like the camera will pan out and you're riding with these packs of horses.
Yep.
And it's so beautiful. I took a video right away and I think I sent it to you, and I was like, dude, this game is incredible. Yeah, one of the beautifulest games ever that you'll play. So yeah,
Yep.
hands down.
All right. So next we're going to jump into our main topic. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this over the next 5 years, 95 to 2000. We are going to rank. We picked 5 games. They may not be everyone's favorite 5. It's the 5 that kind of stuck out to us for each year.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of narrow that down and pick which we think is the best for each year. We're going to talk them through. There are some missing from this list that you would love. There are some that are big names that we know nothing about, and they kind of didn't make the list. But just for the sake of being able to have talking points and have conversations with you guys, we kind of picked the stuff we're super familiar with.
Yep, and this is just to figure out, try to figure out the best of the best. What were the 5 greatest games of '95? Who comes out on top from that year? And then in the end, we hope to make more videos like this from 2001, 5 years into that, and on and on and on. And then at the end, those games from those winners of those 5 years would duke it out, and we'll hopefully give you guys the right answer,
Yep.
And if you disagree, again, leave it in the comments. So,
Yep.
Starting with 95. First game, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest.
Yep.
Probably can't make that title nowadays.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But again, you kind of were gaming way more back then. 95 was the year I was born, so
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't gaming back then. So a lot of these, earlier titles, I will be leaning on you heavily for to pick the right one. But yeah, that's the first game on the list. I'm gonna go with the second.
The second game of the list that we have is Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger was kind of a juggernaut in a genre that hasn't been fully developed yet. There weren't that many really good turn-based RPGs at this point, and they really killed it with this one. Story, characters, everything about it. Anyone who's an RPG fan that in this time they played this game. This was the talk of the town. Everybody talked about it. Everybody had it. Everybody beat it. Super, super good game. It kind of speaks for itself. A lot of people, when you hear that name, you already know what it is.
Yeah, I haven't even played it, but I know it's been on so many people's top 10s, best RPGs and everything.
Yep.
Do you think it would benefit somebody even now going back and play? You think everything still holds up pretty well?
So I kind of think it just depends on how some people are different. Like me, I can play the Super Nintendo games and be fine. Certain stuff like N64, where they first tried to do the 3D thing, where playing Mario 64 or something like that, it's very blocky. These sprites, they still kind of model some games after them today.
Very
so
cool.
It's definitely pretty easy to play if you wanted to jump back in.
All right, cool. Chrono Trigger. All right. Number 3, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island. Again, I'm very familiar with Super Mario. I feel like I probably heard of Yoshi's Island, but was this one of the top Super Mario games, or was this kind of one of those
So this
things
was one of the games that kind of was a sequel that didn't match up to the predecessor. So Super Mario World, epic. One of the greatest 2D side scrollers of all time. This one was fun. It was cool. It just didn't come close to the original, but it still had that same amount of fun. The lovable characters, the enemies. It was still a really good game.
All right. Cool. So it's still in there for a fighting chance currently. Or should we just cross it off now?
We can cross that off now.
Okay.
Super Mario World 2 is gone. Let me go with the next one.
Yeah, so the next one is Rayman. There we go. I was having trouble before, older titles. So I know this IP. I feel like I probably played one, but I don't remember, obviously, the first one, how it stacks up. So do you remember this coming out? Did you play it a lot?
So I did play this a lot. This was kind of in the time where I was just playing what I could play. Friend bring it over, pop it in, we'd play it. Just side scrollers. I mean, that was just like today, a lot of the top games are action RPGs. A lot back then was the side scroller stuff. So
later on is when they added all the rabbits, right?
Yeah, that's
Crazy
kind of like a
Rabbit,
little the
yeah.
offshoot thing, but the Rayman franchise has been going on for a while. There's some really really good fun games. I don't know why he doesn't have arms or legs. I think his hands just float around. That doesn't really help us
I
make a
just
decision here,
I just
but
pictured that in my head. Yeah.
so I do think with that,
'Cause I think our top two currently Donkey Kong and probably Chrono Trigger. So it's what's competing with those currently, correct?
yeah,
So do you think this has a fair shot?
absolutely not.
No.
So
All right.
Rayman, you're gone.
All right. This next game is a game that I actually know and heard of, and it had a recent TV show come out also, which you watched. You want to touch a little bit on this one?
Yeah, so Twisted Metal is something that is super kind of dear to my heart. Um, I first got introduced to it by our uncle Chris. He had it.
Not me, Chris.
I wasn't allowed to have like kind of a. It wasn't heavily monitored, but it was kind of a graphic game. There was a lot of explosions and killing and stuff. So he brought it over. We played it. I loved it. I eventually got it. I think I got it from him. I think he passed it off to me. And then me and Dave would sink probably after that 1,000 hours into this game. All we did was play this game. It's just arena battling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
it's just arena battling. It's kind of like the Mario Kart battle mode, but with missiles and rockets. And each of the cars had certain things, like such iconic characters like Sweet Tooth. You're in the ice cream truck, the clown. There's Outlaw, which is a cop car. It's a lot of cool characters, a lot of fun.
I think the one thing I remember just being an iconic cover for the case too, right?
Yeah,
There was a big clown head on front, and even the font that Twisted Metal was in.
it was like
just
the
looked
big bold metal
what is
font.
this? This looks crazy. This doesn't even look like a game I should be looking at right now.
Yeah. So very fun game. We spent a lot of time on it. It doesn't hang with these other two.
I was ready to say, so I know you're a little biased here, and we might be able to get through 95 fairly quickly, because I know in your heart it's going to be Donkey Kong, correct?
Not at all.
No?
No.
Going with Chrono Trigger?
It's got to be.
Chrono? Oh, wow. He talks about Donkey Kong Country all the time.
And Donkey Kong Country 2 is my favorite one, but it didn't do for its genre what Chrono Trigger did. So Donkey Kong Country 2, unless you have any objections, it's gone.
Nope. Like I said, I'm going to be leaning heavily on you.
You'll be much more active.
Input, and some of these future titles coming up, because I have played them or remakes of them, so I can kind of give my opinion of them. But and as we say that, going into 96, some games that I played, number one, Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
I know you have more fond memories of it because I was more on the Conker's Bad Fur Day for the 64. But yeah, it's just a classic game. The world is collecting all the stars, like the music, and it was a huge step for Nintendo. So I know you have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, so Super Mario 64 is the greatest 3D platformer ever made. It did what it did at the time that it did it. Right now, those graphics do not stand up.
Yeah.
The original. They remade it for the 3DS. I beat it again. It's just amazing. I just want to be upfront. I'm looking through this year. 96 is probably going to be the hardest for me to get out of.
Really?
Because this is the only one where I think every single thing has an argument for me to make it.
Yeah.
But Super Mario 64, it's one of those things where I'll never forget the memories I had of that game, how much fun that game was. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the list now, the next name up, being another heavy hitter. A game that started such a huge franchise and revolutionized how other games went going forward, with the fourth one in the franchise doing the over-the-shoulder, gunplay and everything, and that's Resident Evil. Such a classic story now and everything. And again, I didn't play the original, but I played the remake and loved the remake. And if I could probably find the original somewhere, I'll go back and play that also and see those clunky controls a little bit. But and it's such a different game than 64, so this is definitely going to be hard trying to pick. Like, do you go for the fun, nostalgia of 64, Mario 64, or the serious, wow, what is this game of Resident Evil? What are your thoughts? What do you think?
Again, this era was the era of like me doing a lot of gaming with friends. Me and Dave, I've brought this up before. I'll bring it up 100 other times. This is the game that we played through together. It was our first real horror game experience. Turn the lights off, open a window, sit down, no memory card. Had to beat it in one sitting. We would just leave it running when we weren't home. Some of the scares in this game, one of the most iconic scares in any video game is the dogs through the window.
I've heard this before. So.
Even when you encounter the first zombie, when you walk in the room and he gives you like the slow turn, look over the shoulder, he's got the blood on his face, like such an iconic horror game. I'm going to be honest. I think we should just wait a little longer before we cut anything because I'm not ready to do that.
All right, yeah.
The next one that I have on the list, this game is not a heavy hitter, but this is another game that took up a lot of my time. Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I remember so many things about this game. Again, me and Dave just playing it over and over and over and over again. I'm pretty sure I think we had a memory card by this point. I think. I don't remember having any issues with that.
I'm sure it was more of later. So I remember Tomb Raider. I remember, that's kind of Angelina Jolie, pixelated kind of.
Yeah.
And so was each level just you raiding a different tomb?
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. For the people who play games now and didn't play games then, it is Uncharted with a woman.
Okay.
You're through caverns. You're running from bears.
Uncharted gets a little more,
It does. But
supernatural towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
Everyone.
As far as like the basic dungeon stuff, you're in the woods, you're in the caves, you're climbing mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I remember me and Dave looking around. There was a cheat code, and it's like, hey, if you go behind this waterfall, like she'll be in a bathing suit or something. So we're like, got to try that. We're kids, we're young, we're like trying to get behind this waterfall.
That definitely sounds like a cheat code for the 90s. I'm not sure if you'd be able to get away with it now, maybe.
But Tomb Raider was great. I don't think Tomb Raider can hang with either of the two that we had mentioned before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Tomb Raider is probably some people's favorite games of all time. Me, I vaguely remember it. I don't think it stacks up to the other two previous.
I don't.
So, yeah, Tomb Raider, I'm sorry, but you did not raid this tomb.
All right. So the next one is one that is very near and dear to me. I'm going to be completely honest, without argument. This is going to be the one that's going to be very, very hard to beat. Pokemon Red and Blue version. This game started one of my favorite franchises. This was the first time that I probably put 100 hours in a game as a kid. Having this game that you love so much in handheld, and you could take it wherever you want, it was huge. I remember reading about it in Nintendo Power. As the issues went on, they talked more and more and more. And, as a kid, you're easily swayed into things. So you're like, I got to try this. So me and a friend got it. I got blue version, best version. He got the red version. And we completed the Pokedex. We traded, we battled, it's just such an amazing game, and it started such an important franchise for me.
Yeah. It was such an original idea too. I wonder who came up with the idea. Like, we should release 2 every single year. Put someone here. I'm sure maybe they were thinking more money, whatever. But we love it as a franchise. Like, hey, which one are you getting? You getting red? Or you getting X? You getting Y? We swap back and forth.
And then our brother David would get both.
Yeah, he would just get both.
He didn't need us for anything. We moved too slow. He just wanted to complete the Pokedex.
I would still be on Route 1. He'd already be at the Elite Four. So, I mean, again, this is one of the ones. I think the oldest Pokemon I played was Yellow. I remember buying Yellow, and then I was very shocked about how it looked. Like, the Pokemon in your party didn't even, like, the Charmander didn't look like a Charmander. It just looked like a dinosaur type of thing. So I came in a little bit later on with Pokemon Fire Red and, all that. But I can respect the original and where it all came from. Again, my fondest memory is with 64. But if you think this is better than 64 and Resident Evil, then I would stick with you with this.
So I wanna talk over the last one, and then I want to make a point for who I think should win, and then we can
Okay.
debate
All
it.
right. The final three.
Yeah. So the final one, if you want to bring it up, I don't know if you
Yeah,
wanna
the
bring it up.
final one again. I don't have too much, knowledge on, but I've heard it. I've heard about it. I've heard people say, "Oh man, it's one of the greatest fighting games of all time," and that's Tekken 2. I couldn't tell you a single character from it. The only fighting games I kind of know a little bit about is Mortal Kombat, maybe a little Street Fighter, but yeah, Tekken 2.
So just some
Yeah.
insight on Tekken 2. This was the first time where they did kind of the 3D roaming. You could
Okay.
sidestep. So the character roster improved. Some of the mechanics were better. The graphics, of course, were better from Tekken 1. But this is the first time where you could actually move in a 3D environment instead of just side-by-side battling. So that was huge for the fighting game fans. I remember I was locked in on this game for a while.
For a while, but
Cool
not
characters.
countless hours.
No, not countless hours. I have a lot of friends that were fighting game fans. So when they come over and I'm like, hey, let's see how fast we can beat this level in Donkey Kong Country. They're like, no, let's play Mortal Kombat. And it's like, you just kind of let them win.
There you go.
This one does not hold a candle to any of these other three. So if you're cool with that, we can get rid of this.
Yep.
All right. Tekken 2 is gone.
I feel like I kind of know where you're leaning.
I don't think you do because
No?
I just have a point to make. So here's my point. Pokemon Red and Blue is where I want to go. But I feel like Super Mario did way more for its genre at this point with this game. I feel like there are much better Pokemon games after Red and Blue.
Yeah.
They will not win when we get to their year because they're so stacked.
Yeah.
So as much as I'd like to give Pokemon Red and Blue the win so I could say Pokemon won something, I really think that I have to get rid of Pokemon and Resident Evil and go with Super Mario 64.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 64 is probably the only one that I actually have memories playing. That's not a remake or whatnot. So
Yep.
I totally agree with you on that.
All right.
Super Mario 64 for the win.
Resident Evil is gone. Pokemon Red and Blue. I'm sorry. As much as I hate to do it, you are gone
Hey.
as well.
They all can't win. All right.
14-year-old me is very upset, but it's going to be good.
Going into 97, this might be the easiest one of all time because we mentioned one of these games being one of the greatest games of all time.
Yep.
It's one of your favorite games of all time, so I'm going to let you go ahead and just announce it.
Yeah, so 97 is the year that Final Fantasy VII released. In my opinion, there haven't been many better storylines in games. There hasn't been a group of characters that I've struggled to find who I want in my party more than this game.
Yeah.
Yep. You want to have a tactic. You want to be like, all right, this is my healer. This is what I'm doing. I really want that guy though, but I also want that guy.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out. This game came out in 97. We are awaiting the third part of the remake.
Yep. And it's still as great now,
It's bringing in more fans.
I'm sure some of the people who played the remake was like, man, I want to go back and play the original. What's that about? And like you said, still hands down some of the best music.
Yep.
One of the greatest villains of all time, you know? And we never talked about this, I don't think, but like even their item system, making it like materia like these little balls.
Goes
and like
into your weapon.
Yeah, but it could be a skill or it could be a summon. It could be a magical ability. It was such a cool like dynamic instead of just being like, hey, you find this creature thing and here you go, Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very hard to beat this. We have some other bigger games on this year, but yeah, it's going to be hard. Speaking of bigger games, a game that talking about playing together and for years and having so many memories, GoldenEye. How many times have we played GoldenEye? The cartridge also being gold, such a cool like difference from all the other.
That one gold?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't think it was. I think Ocarina of Time was the only gold one I remember.
Well, I lied. This is why he's here to correct.
Maybe someone painted one for you.
Maybe. But yeah, man, GoldenEye, I remember just like, I think this was when I was first getting into gaming and like playing with you guys and just having a great time.
Golden guns, getting people set up.
Yep. And me, when I was younger, I was kind of like a mama's boy. So I would always run and tell on these guys. And, video games, I think it opened up a little bit because you guys would be like, all right, you can come in and play, but you got to be cool. No writing to us from mom if we play too late or something. So, GoldenEye, unless you think there's a reason why it should beat 7.
Nope.
No?
We can
All
move it
right.
out of here. GoldenEye, you are gone.
And again, some of these titles might seem like we're, scraping the bottom of the barrel compared to 7, but these were some of the top games of that year, and we tried our best to narrow it down. So, some of these next upcoming games,
Yep.
we know it might not hold a candle, but these were the tops. So,
Yep.
You want to introduce the next one?
So next up, we have Diddy Kong Racing. This was a game that some would say does rival Mario Kart, the other kart racing juggernaut.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. This was a lot of fun. There were a couple reasons it was better than Mario Kart. There were boss battles. There were airplanes. You had different vehicles, different types of vehicles. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't Mario Kart for me because Mario Kart is kind of like the staple, and this was kind of just something else they threw out there.
Yeah.
So Diddy Kong Racing kind of changed a lot of things that Mario Kart hadn't done. It's one of the greatest rivals of that game, I believe, at that time. A lot of people prefer it. There were boss battles. You could fly in planes. A lot of the elements that Mario Kart never did. And that was kind of the gist of it. It was, separate characters, all the Diddy Kong characters.
Yeah, it sounds like it probably did a lot of things that Mario Kart probably took a little bit later on. It's kind of upsetting a little bit, like bully Diddy Kong Racing out to get Mario Kart, and now Diddy Kong's in Mario Kart. But
beat your own competition.
Yeah, but to me, I don't think this stands toe to toe with Final Fantasy 7. So we'll go ahead and strike that one off the list.
Yeah.
Now here's a little bit more of an interesting game, kind of like a super weird game in a way. Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. I remember playing one back in the day. I can't remember if it was this one. I remember I was this big, like, weird sea monster with like 1 foot, and you would I
think that was one of the
like
later
little
ones.
Fuzzy things out, and they would like attack people for you.
Yeah.
But I know Oddworld is a beloved franchise and IP and everything. To me, again, standing toe to toe with one of the greatest games ever. I don't have as much experience with this. I'm not sure if you have more, and you're going to make an argument and surprise us all and tell us Oddworld is actually your really favorite game of all time.
No,
but
it's definitely not that. But this is another one that our Uncle Chris kind of brought my way. Alien guy, he's burping, he's farting all over the place. Like, he thought that was cool to bring to a kid. Like, hey, check this out. And it was cool to bring to a kid because I loved it. We would just walk around and you would hide or move behind something and fart, and like the enemies would be like, what? Like, what? It was a really fun game. It definitely doesn't stand toe to toe with any of the other games that are on this list. So
starting to wonder where Uncle Chris's parental advisory was while he was parental advisory you.
Yeah. So Oddworld, you can go as well.
All right. You want to bring up the next one?
Yeah, next one. So this game is, I feel like this game is like the FromSoft games of this generation. I feel like there was a cult following of this game. I had friends who were all about this game. When this game came out, it's all they played. It's all they talked about. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This game,
awesome title.
Yeah. Awesome game. It wasn't one of those ones that's like really, really in my wheelhouse. It started the Metroidvania stuff, like all the stuff that people are going crazy about now, the third-party stuff. Like, it's really, it kind of started that stuff.
Yeah, and Castlevania and that whole genre is really one of those.
There we go. Good.
Yeah, just a little. Castlevania and that whole genre is really one of those ones that I think back on a little bit because I hear so much good stuff about even the newer ones coming out. I'm like, dude, that new Castlevania is so cool. So that's why I'm still hopeful of there's so many games to go back and play. And that's kind of on my personal list. Like, man, I really want to try to check out that series at some point.
Yeah.
But again, the series we have checked out and talk about all the time, Final Fantasy 7, is it beating it?
It's definitely beating it. Hands down. Final Fantasy 7.
Okay, there we go.
Castlevania, you're out of here.
I thought for a second you were saying Castlevania beat
no.
Final Fantasy VII.
We can't do that.
It might beat it in name. Symphony of the Night is pretty hardcore. So, okay. You want to talk about tough years? Let me introduce you to 1998.
Yeah.
I'll let you start off this because I don't even know where we're going to go with this.
So I feel like I've talked too much about this game to my family, my friends, my cats, previous videos. Yeah. This is the year that probably one of my top 3 favorite games ever was released. Zelda Ocarina of Time. This is going to be very hard to beat. I'm not going to go into it again. It is what it is. It's everything you've heard that it is. And if you've heard bad things, you were told lies.
Yeah, I mean, probably the golden grail of Nintendo's games. You know, it's probably the best Nintendo game of all time. Again, like you said, probably not going to go too much into it because we've already, said so much about it. I think the only thing that could beat Zelda Ocarina of Time might be Zelda Ocarina of Time remake. If it is the same exact game and everything is just enhanced. So that's currently number 1. A legendary video game director, a guy who comes up with original ideas all the time. All of his games are super popular. And this is when Metal Gear Solid 1 came out. You played them a lot more. I'm just newly getting into them. I played the number 3 remake. I really enjoyed it. He got me the collection with the number 1, 2, and 3 in it. So I'm interested in playing that. But, your thoughts? Do you think it even touches Zelda Ocarina of Time? Is it close, kind of?
So this is one of those games that I played a lot of when it came out. It was recommended to me by somebody it was probably Electronic Boutique at this time, which became EB Games, whichever. I was trading in some games, looking to get something new. It was highly recommended. I played the shit out of this game. This was one of those games where I felt like at that time I was the only person that really hyped it up the way I did. I didn't think that it had the cult following that it did. My friends didn't play games like this, so it was kind of one of those things that I thought it was special. I just didn't know that it was to a bunch of other people. This is some of the greatest games, greatest and confusing stories, some of the greatest villains, and it all started with this.
Even like the case, wasn't there because you got this radio frequency thing, right, throughout the game?
Yeah.
Wasn't there a frequency on the back of the case that nobody even really knew about back then?
There was a lot of tricky stuff like that. Yeah. Stuff that you would find in different coded messages and stuff like that.
Yeah, Kojima is, one of the greatest video game makers of all time, probably. But again, I mean, Zelda, does it beat out Zelda? I think no.
This was a tough year as well. I don't think that this beats Ocarina of Time by a long shot.
Yeah.
So I think Metal Gear Solid has to go.
All right, we're sorry, guys. Again, if you disagree, let us know. What do you think should win each year? And maybe you can make your own list down in the comments, and people can argue with you guys.
Yep.
Next game up, we already talked about the original. I think people say the sequel to this is even better than the original. I know the remake people hail is one of the greatest remakes of all time. Resident Evil 2.
Yep.
I'm sure you're going to bring up Dave again. I'm sure you're going to bring up some late nights again.
So this was the one, I clearly remember the night that we got this. Our grandmother took me to Target, Walmart, one of them. We
First
picked
question
it up.
before we get into this, because I know they want to know. Did you have a memory card?
Yes. At this point, we were good to go.
Awesome.
So she picked it up. We went back to her place. We picked up Dave. He came over, and I remember falling asleep on this and him just barreling through. So I did miss some parts the first time we played through this. I couldn't hang. He was up kicking ass while I was sleeping, but
that's messed up because at that point you could have just saved and turned it off, and he could have waited for you.
Yeah, you could have. He was locked in. So,
all right.
Yeah, that's Resident Evil 2 for me.
Again, I played the remake. The remake is one of, I think I already said the remake is my favorite Resident Evil of all time. Didn't play the original, and I was shocked that I didn't play the originals too, because I thought I was playing the originals, and I don't know what was going on in my head that I thought the remakes or whatever was going on. But I clearly remember playing Ocarina of Time, and even the remake. I still don't even think beats Ocarina of Time for me.
Yep.
You know, are you in agreement?
I am in agreement.
All right. This next game I haven't played, but I remember you having it, and I remember your collection of games back then, and the one thing, just being a kid not playing games, is the cases looked so cool. And for whatever reason, I remember this case also looking so cool, and that's Xenogears.
Yep.
You know, because correct me if I'm wrong, but was this the one, or maybe this was Xenogears 2, maybe, where it had the guy with the ponytail on it?
Yep, that's Xenogears.
Yeah. So, you know, I remember that case vividly and just being like, man, what is this? You know, attracting me to it. You can tell us a little bit more about the game itself.
Yeah, so this is one of the games that I got into playing Final Fantasy VII, beating that, and looking for more games like that. So when you're in the store and you're looking for games, this was the one that was recommended to me. It is one of my favorite RPG experiences. The story, the characters are amazing. You know, you're in gears or mechs, battling in those as well.
This like eventually,
yeah. This eventually turned into what was, you know, the Xenosaga games, which were much more
Xenoblade.
Like no, I think that's different.
Okay,
that's separate, I believe. But yeah, it was one of those games that I can't remember it vividly, but I can still remember certain parts and seeing the characters move and stuff like that. So it's definitely one of those games for me.
Quick question: if you could have, do you still have Final Fantasy VII for the PS1 physical?
I don't.
Excluding that, if you could have one PS1 physical copy again, what would it be?
It would probably be Xenogears.
Xenogears? Okay.
Final Fantasy VII, I can play anywhere.
Yeah.
Xenogears, we brought this up before. You can't play this anywhere.
Yeah.
You can't get it in the Sony store. You can't do any of that. You need to have this physical game and a PS1 to play.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll change soon because I'd love for you to get into it and play it. But
I'll test anything
makes it even more special.
Is it special enough to beat Ocarina of Time?
Absolutely not.
All right. I think you guys kind of already see. Some of these games are just juggernauts of games, and it's like hard for another one to come along.
Yeah.
I don't expect this next game to come along either, but we remember playing this game a lot. A great studio, also Valve, Half-Life. You know, I remember even the guns. You know, the saw blade gun,
gravity gun. You could pick stuff up and launch it. Like
you want to talk about revolutionary? I think this one was definitely ahead of its time.
And I don't even know if this game was supposed to be scary, but it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, those little fat monster things.
There's like a town where there's like it's dark and there's like nothing but like crows flying around and it's kind of dark and it's like, man, it really creeped me out.
And we bring this up because we know later on it comes out for the console that we played it on, which was, you said PS2. I remember Xbox. One of us is right.
Yeah, Xbox had the orange box set, which was that.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking
Team Fortress and Portal.
Yep.
All in one. Yep.
But originally, apparently, it came out on computer, right?
Yep.
And we
knew,
you know, Half-Life is such a big game for those who play it. So we wanted to put it on there for the year that it came out because, you know, later on we wouldn't be able to put it on the later, you know, list. So, but again, I don't see it standing toe to toe with Zelda.
Nope. No. Zelda is the winner for 1998.
98 down. You want to lead us into 99?
99 is one of these years, just to kind of preface things. I know who I want to win. I could be swayed, but we'll lead in with Tony Hawk Pro Skater. This was a super special game. I remember at this point I had friends that were skateboarding. I wasn't. Too tall, too lanky, too uncoordinated. Tony Hawk Pro Skater is what introduced me to a lot of bands that I now consider some of my favorites. Goldfinger, AFI, some of these bands that are on here, and it's just like, what are these bands? It got me into doing that. I could play this. There's some games you used to play that weren't story driven, that you would play music in the background to kind of like play. This one had its own soundtrack. All the soundtracks were great. It was fun, learning all the tricks, trying to pull off the 900.
Yeah.
Funny stuff in these games as well. It was definitely a really great addition to the sports world. adding the skateboard game.
Yeah, again, I didn't play much of Tony Hawk, but I've seen other people play. You know, I think the cheat codes or whatever to like dress your guy up as different things was also super funny. I would love to see an argument to say like what was better, the actual game or the soundtrack, because
Yeah,
that's what I always hear. And then once I do hear songs from the game, I'm like, man, they had this song in there and this song in there. Like, geez, they had like the greatest hits on this one game.
I'm
So
putting this up there with Expedition and Kingdom Hearts. Like I could
for
listen
music,
to this for soundtracks.
oh
I mean,
wow,
some of these songs never missed. I mean, it's not the same. It's not video game music.
yeah,
It's actual
original
bands,
music,
but, right,
you
right,
know,
right.
yeah, compared to the greatest hits songs of that time.
Yep.
So number one, currently, looking at the rest of this list, I don't think it's going to be there long because next up is, you know, our bias kicks in, Pokemon Silver and Gold. Again, a little bit earlier for me. So did this release of Silver and Gold, did that just take, you know, Red and Blue even further for you, or was
Yeah.
this a step back?
Definitely.
Or
I remember watching the show and
the TV show, the show?
the TV show, the Pokemon TV show,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and slowly start seeing new Pokemon added. And you're like, what is going on here? And then you get the game and you're like, there's more. There's not just 150. So it gave you a new experience. It gave you the Pokemon that you had before, and it added a bunch more to it. So it's like, I get to keep collecting.
Yeah. Yep.
The
You know,
story was great. The legendaries were great in this one. Probably some of the greatest legendary Pokemon. To me, probably one of the best covers of any
Yeah.
of the games.
Suicune and
No, Ho-Oh
Oh,
and
Lugia
Lugia.
and
Yeah,
Ho, yep.
yeah. So they were two of the best. Yeah,
Yep.
great game.
Yeah, when you talked about the show, it totally mixed my mind. I thought you were talking about Attack of the Show.
Oh,
And
no,
the,
no,
like
no,
the
no,
video
no.
game shows back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the yeah. I mean, I can only imagine like back then that being like the first like really like Pokemon experience of watching the show and be like, I get all these creatures now. Like,
Yeah. Or seeing them in the show and being like, it was really cool in the show. I wanted in my team in the game. Like, I got a Squirtle squad rolls off. If you didn't have a
Yeah.
Squirtle, you had to try to find one. You needed one at that
yeah,
point.
yeah. Amazing. So currently, do you think that overtakes Tony Hawk or
Absolutely.
absolutely?
For me, yes. Tony Hawk Pro Skater is gone.
And again, like I said, a lot of this I'm going to probably be agreeing with you because you know better than me at this point.
Yep.
I'm excited to get into the later rounds when I actually really started gaming and really, you know, put up a fight for maybe one that I like over yours. But besides that, going on to, again, returning to this franchise, I think this one was kind of maybe a step down from people just from what I hear. But Resident Evil 3,
Yep.
you know, maybe you can enlighten us. Why was this a little bit worse or, you know, just not as good as the previous
I just
two?
think the story and the dynamic changed. The enemies were a little bit different. It was a little bit different style of game. I was not a fan of this one. I loved one, I loved two, and then this one came out, and I'm like, oh, this is, you know, definitely a step back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because again, I played the remake, but was there a nemesis in this that would also follow
Yeah,
you around?
yeah.
I would imagine it was probably a little bit trickier back then too, with camera angles and
And
everything
it's
like
clunky. You think you're going one way, you're going the other way. So
Mm.
it's definitely like that.
that. All right, so Resident Evil off the list.
Yes.
Okay,
Gotta go.
gotta catch them all.
All right.
Pokemon remains. So going into the next one, you're gonna kind of lead into this a little
Yeah,
bit. I can, you know,
Final Fantasy VIII for me was a little bit of a disappointment. I was not a huge fan of the characters. I was not a huge fan of the story. The only thing that kind of grabbed my attention at first was this is where you first started getting more realistic graphics. I didn't want that.
yeah.
I really liked the cartoony characters. I liked Vivi. I liked Cloud and Barrett. I liked that those types of guys.
Battle
just-
system was a little weird too. Right?
Yeah, and I just don't think that it did enough for me to really like go all in. This is one of the Final Fantasies I've never beat. It was just a lot to get into, and anybody who says the Gunblade is better than the Buster Sword, you're wrong. Argue in the comments, whatever. It's just
It
yeah,
does
it
look
wasn't
cool.
it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember trying to go back and when I was playing the older ones, and once I got to this one, I just could not get into it whatsoever. So I didn't go too far at all, especially like the open world. I think I remember being a little bit weird as well.
Yep.
So I don't have too much say on this. But I mean, I would probably take Pokemon over this Final Fantasy.
I definitely would.
All right.
Final Fantasy VIII is gone.
Now Mario 64 is huge. One of the greatest games for 64. How did Donkey Kong compare to that? Because that's our next one, Donkey Kong 64.
So Donkey Kong 64 is kind of the first time where it's not a side scroller that you're used to seeing. It's a little more roaming around type stuff. I was not a fan. I was a huge fan of the Donkey Kong Country games. They looked great. Those graphics on those Donkey Kong Country games still stand up. This was it.
So what about it compared? Because just to me, I would think, well, that's kind of the same thing that they did with Mario 64, right? Like no longer side scrolling, they open it up 3D. So it kind of sounds like they took the same format for this. So what didn't work with this?
It just wasn't as innovative. The levels weren't as good. The bosses weren't as good. Stuff like that. It just it kind of missed the mark. It was fun. It wasn't great for me. And if it comes down to my opinion, I just think Pokemon actually does get one of these years, and I think this is it.
All right. Yeah, I agree. So long, Donkey Kong.
All right. So, like I said, we're going to be doing kind of, whenever we do these, we're going to be doing 5 years at a time. This is the last of the 5.
Yep.
Now the year 2000. The first game. Actually, I'll let you take it.
First game. I said it with the video game shout out. Case is right here. Final Fantasy IX. A few things that I didn't say about the game. If you like the Renaissance area and you like RPGs, this is for you. The music is great. The environment's great. It has, you like Final Fantasy VII's cast. I would say this might have the second or third best cast. I think about Final Fantasy X also a lot. That has a great group of characters. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy IX was still going with the same formula, as number 7 was, kind of that pixelated world. We haven't gotten to 10 yet, so we didn't come out with the PlayStation 2 yet for the better graphics and everything. Right. But story, summons, powers, still hands down. I just love this game so much. So I don't know if there's stuff that I'm missing that you want to also throw out there, or we can move on to the next one. Up to you.
You've said enough. This was an amazing installment in this game. This is kind of after Final Fantasy VIII, and we got from 7 to 8 to here. I kind of was like, we're back. We went off track a little bit. We figured out that it didn't quite work, and we're moving back in the right direction again.
You recently just beat it for the first time, right?
So I thought I never beat it, but in beating it, I realized I did beat it. I think the boss that I was thinking of that I didn't beat is the final boss in Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh,
so I did beat 9. I thought I didn't. I was waiting for the point in 9 to where I was like, all right, I don't remember anything past this. And I never got to it.
And then the credits roll.
And then the credits roll, and I'm like, what am I missing? So I definitely think 8 is the one that I didn't beat. And I probably won't ever get to that. So, yeah, that's kind of it. So on to the next one. This is the follow-up to an absolute legendary game. This is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. This is another one that I got very, very far in. Never finished it. It's got the time limit. It's got the days ending. It's got a more darker theme. Yeah. And I think I wasn't ready for quite the darker theme. I don't know what it was about
Very dark.
I loved it, but I didn't love it enough to continue to see it through.
Yeah, and I will say it probably, though, has one of the coolest Zelda characters in there with the Skull Kid, right?
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Just the mask, Majora's Mask, that's such a cool thing. And I will say, the mask element, because, you have to go around collecting masks also and, different abilities. That's really cool. But, again, I played the remake that came out on 3DS more. And, again, I didn't beat it because I hate the time limit. Me and you, we like exploring the game to its absolute fullest. So when you put a time limit on that, it kind of ruins it a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I don't like being rushed.
Yeah, safe to say, Final Fantasy IX, where you can put 1,000 hours into it.
Yeah.
So number 1.
Yeah.
All right,
number 1. Majora's Mask is gone.
Now, this next game, I don't really know too much about. I know you really wanted to put it on the list, so I'll let you go ahead and speak about it a bit.
Yeah, so Perfect Dark was, when it came out, it was a great follow-up from Rare. They did GoldenEye. This game had the weapon customization. It had the futuristic feel. It had cool characters. The story mode, like, you couldn't look away from it. It was one of those things where you had to see it through. And, it had the same type of online battling as GoldenEye did, a lot of the same themes, but it was just an amazing game. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about that.
I think I heard them talk about making like a remake, but then I think it got canceled just recently, like the past couple of years.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that kind of sucks.
I was kind of bummed by that. Something that everybody should play. I mean, now it's hard because as much as I love the 64, those graphics are pretty tough to go back to.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendo has more bearable stuff because of what it was.
Yeah. I think it's like more nostalgia. I have a buddy, Jeremy, who has like an emulator and he can emulate so many games. And I found myself playing Conkers at his house and like they're making like food and stuff and I'm still just in there. Like, and I noticed it's been like 20 minutes. I'm like, let me just get the Mr. Scarecrow birdie. Hold on. So like, I think if you don't have that nostalgia and you just go off of like, oh, I want to get into some older stuff. Yeah, the graphics really is, but like, probably will ruin it for a lot of people, unfortunately. But
yep.
So Perfect Dark, Final Fantasy 9.
It doesn't match up.
All right.
Perfect Dark is gone.
This is a whole part of my master plan. Final Fantasy 9 is going to come out fully on top. Watch, guys. If you've seen our last video, you'll know.
So for the next one, I'm not going to go too much into this. It was one of the bigger games of this year for me. It didn't do a whole lot different than what the first one did. The music was still great. The graphics were a little better. A couple more characters. I still had a shitload of fun with this game. Tony Hawk 2. I'll let you speak whatever you want to speak about it, but it definitely doesn't move past Final Fantasy 9 for me.
I haven't really played those games a whole lot, so I'll believe you in what you say.
Yep.
I would really not believe you if you said it did beat Final Fantasy 9 somehow, so I'm glad we can get through that. Next game, again, I think I played a remake of it on GameCube, but in 2000, I guess it came out. Or maybe it did come out on GameCube in 2000.
No, it came out on the Dreamcast first.
Okay, there you go. So, Skies of Arcadia, I remember it on GameCube being so much fun and stuff, but I'm sure you can talk more about the original.
So I remember playing this for the Dreamcast. It was one of the 3 games I owned. I had Sonic. There was 4. I had Sonic, Power Stone, an NFL game, and I had Skies of Arcadia.
Is that just because there wasn't like a lot of options?
It's just because that console really just didn't do it for me. Skies of Arcadia, turn-based RPG, you're sky pirates. It's an amazing story. It's amazing characters. The battle system is great.
Yeah. I think this is one of those games that is like so good, but it probably flies under a lot of people's radar because you had so many other great games come out that year. And it's unfortunate. I'm glad it got a remake later on. And
I guarantee you, if we were to look into probably like maybe 2003 or whenever it dropped for the GameCube, it probably got shot under the radar that year too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because as you look at these lists, games just get better in abundance as we go. So like you're going to get some of these lists early on. It's like, I don't even know that game. Well, that's not even really that great of a game. But as we go on, we're picking 5 games from every year. By the time we get 5, 6, 7 years down the road into the next video when we do it, we're going to start having a hard time picking only 5, whereas sometimes we have a hard time picking 5.
Yeah.
I think the true king of this year is Final Fantasy 9. It still ranks way up there with most of our turn-based RPGs. I think most fans really rank it up there. You list Final Fantasy characters. Vivi is one of the best ones, one of the most noticeable ones.
Yep. You want to talk about tattoos? You can't show it.
I got.
Oh, there it is.
I got Vivi tattooed.
For some reason, I was thinking it was on your chest, but that's Mario, right?
Yeah. So he's just an iconic character. It's one of those things where, like, if they gave video game awards for acting abilities in games, he's the guy. Like, he's got an epic story.
Yeah, it's such a sad story too.
Yeah. So that wraps it up. Those are the 5 years. So just to recap, 1995, Chrono Trigger was the king of that year.
Yep.
1996, Super Mario 64.
Yep.
1997, Final Fantasy 7. 1998, Zelda Ocarina of Time. And 1999, Pokemon Gold and Silver. And the year 2000, Final Fantasy 9. Those are iconic games.
It's just crazy to me how you had 5 straight years of just like, this is one of the greatest games of all time.
There were really no game awards back then, but these games we might have picked the games of the year from all of those years.
Yeah.
The Pokemon one, people may argue with. That's kind of a homer pick for us, but yeah, I feel like we did pretty well there. And in the future, we'll do the next 5. We'll kind of mix it up, and we won't do it completely back to back. We'll something to give us something to talk about and research and look into.
Yeah, we definitely. I think this is a good, little build up into it because, like you said, the years that come after, there's such a abundance of so many games.
Yeah.
So this is a nice little starting point. We definitely have some heavy hitters that I think could stand toe to toe with maybe a game that came out in 2022 or 2021 or 2018 is a big year. So look forward to that.
We made this list pretty easily. We didn't have to compromise on a lot. It was a lot of, these are the ones I want. These are the ones I want. Now what do we want to add?
Yep.
As we go further into this, there will be a little bit more deliberation, a little more arguing. This went a little smoother than our last video.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's it.
All right, yeah. So I think we have a pretty fun game that we want to get to as well.
Yeah. So this week we're gonna do video game blind ranking. I'm gonna name 6 games. He's going to label 1 through 6 where he would rank those games, and we're going to see how it looks in the end.
Awesome. Stay tuned for that.
So, all right. Your first game, BioShock.
So blind ranking, so I'm doing 1 through 5.
1 through 6.
1 through 6.
Where you would rank it 1 through 6.
Oh. Is there any rhyme or reason to these games that you picked?
Not at all.
No? See, the safe option is just to go right down the middle, and I think that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put it at 3. Right in the middle. Right. That kind of sets the bar, I don't know what you're coming with next.
All right. So next is going to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Oh.
The original.
360 days.
Yeah.
Oh. See, that would beat out so many, just off of nostalgia, that would beat out so many, better games just because I love it so much. And these are my personal favorite, right, that I have to choose from, or are we going, the best game?
No, this is how you would rank them.
Number 2. There can be stuff that's ahead of that, which I know you know about. So I got to keep number 1 open.
All right. Next one is Elden Ring.
1. Yeah. See, I was thinking you were going to come with a Dark Souls 3 and stuff, but Elden Ring is toe to toe with that. It's just massive. You can do so much. And in my older years, I can play Elden Ring by myself. I need friends to play Modern Warfare with me, kind of,
Yep.
BioShock, still great, but I don't think it beats Elden Ring.
All right. Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Ooh. See, here's the problem. I'm not as big of a Nintendo guy as you. So I love the game. It was amazing. I could probably talk about that for an hour alone. But because I think there's so many games that I would take over it, I got to put it at number 6.
Woo!
What do I have left open? 4 and 5?
4 and 5.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I like where we're at so far.
All right. Next game is Pokemon Heart Gold.
Oh. See, this is where I realized I messed up. Because I put so many. Heart Gold is one of the first games that I actually looked at my hours and I was like, wow, I put a lot of hours into that. It should probably be where BioShock is. But since I can't get there, I got to put it right below it.
All right.
Which means my number 5 is, and I'm praying he doesn't say Assassin's Creed 2. I'm praying he doesn't say Dark Souls 3.
So I don't think you're going to be too upset with this
All
list.
right, let's do it.
Your number 5 is Minecraft.
Oh,
So I
Yeah.
really only see one issue
Aw.
with this list, and that's 5 and 6.
yeah. Like I said, I'd probably put Heart Gold a little bit higher. Definitely probably where Bioshock is. So probably those last 3 spots are range.
Switch
But
them
I
up
think
a
my
little
top
bit.
3 is probably perfect for me. So
Yep. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the show this week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share this with your friends. Maybe this is something they might love, something to help pass the time.
yeah, we love seeing your guys' comments too. We've been seeing more of that. We love the response to some of them. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you, guys.